Okay. Now we are going to do some introduction. Now, I think the quorum is okay. We can start. I will start by introducing myself. Then Mr. Sakwa will take the microphone. Everybody should say his name or her name and what you do. Just simple. So my names are Augustine Musila. I'm the CEO of Biocare Health. So I'll give this opportunity to Mr. Sakwa to start from that end. Then tuzunguke hivyo. Just your name, shout your name and what you do. Thank you very much.
Thank you, CEO. You do not shout. The microphone will shout. Yes.
Hello. My name is Aden. I'm a clinician. I work at the Mal Healthcare. I'm also part of the team that's doing the media production today.
Yes, hello, good evening. My name is Ronald Kasioka. I'm a dialysis patient at Figo Plus. I was invited here today by Mr. Gikonyo. And we also run a foundation where we are supporting children who are on dialysis by offering counseling to them and also to their caregivers. Actually, yesterday we had a support group meeting at the Kenyatta National Hospital where we had gathered together dialysis patients and also their caregivers, and we had a professional who now was educating us on related topics. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity.
Dr. Nsongo Boniface, I'm Director at TPT Afya, Kitengela, Nairobi West, South B, and the senior branches. But I'm also an IT enthusiast. So I'm co-founded a company called Afyacode where we are happy to be invited today to be able to see this kind of innovations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Mocheche Omwelo. I am a lawyer by profession. I'm also co-director of Equity Effect Tangela. Thank you.
Hello everyone, so my name is Ebeneza Mokamba. I'm a care coordinator, and together with Dr. Boniface, we run CareCall, which is basically a chronic disease management platform so we're excited to be here.
Good evening, everybody. My name is David Ye, and I have local name is Kimani. Okay, so I'm the friend of Mr. CEO and Mr. George, invited as a friend in here. You're highly welcome.
Please clap for Kimani.
Good evening, everyone. My name is John Kikonyo, President, Innovation Society of Kenya, also Vice Chair, the Non-Communicable Diseases Alliance of Kenya. As many of you may be aware, diabetes is the leading cause of kidney failure in the world. And so when you control diabetes, you reduce the number of people who get to end-stage renal disease. So this is a very interesting development for us, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Nigam. I am the GM Africa for Amax Healthcare Limited. We work in the field of healthcare for humanitarian aid. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kevin Chandaria, and I'm from Amax Healthcare as well, for Operations Manager for Africa Amax Healthcare. We've recently just opened our company in the Special Economic Zone, Nairobi Gate here, and we are going to be covering in Europe and international aid project from Kenya for Central, East, and Southern Africa.
Thank you very much. The ladies now.
Good evening. My name is Mary Kachuku. I work with Afyacode as a nutritionist.
Good evening. My name is Emily Makalo. I'm a wellness advisor at Old Mutual. Looking forward to learning something new.
Good evening. I'm Ruth Barasa. I'm a registered nurse at Afyacode.
Hello. I'm Dr. Wagodi. I'm a medical officer at Afyacode.
Hello, I'm Dr. Daisy Sisanda, a medical officer. I'm an associate
Afyacode.
Good evening. My name is Daisy Colley. I'm the communications person at Afyacode.
Dr. Elijah Matolo, called Mutual Health Insurance.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Elvira Riungu. I'm a project coordinator for a program called WDF 21-1830 that seeks to integrate the management of diabetes and hypertension into primary care networks. Sorry, it's a long one, but thank you.
Jambo. My name is Joan Kimeto. I work with Kenya Diabetes Management and Information Center as a program manager and acting CEO.
Good evening, I'm Ruth Alwich from Afyacode.
Jamboni, my name is Lincoln Obed. I'm the chair of the Association of Parents of Children Living with Type 1 Diabetes. We are the caregivers of the children of Type 1 diabetes. So this is key for us as parents who are taking care of Type 1 diabetic children. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Salat Afamtek.
Good evening, I'm David Abonji, guest.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Hussein, a clinician from Nakiba Medical Clinic, practicing privately with lab tech, Mrs. Irene. I have a child who is diabetic type 1, so I'd like to have access to this tool.
As Dr. has said, I'm Irene. I'm the lab tech.
Good evening. My name is Sheila Kapsura. I'm a diabetic and post-transplant kidney patient. Was invited here by John Kikoy.
Good evening. I'm Solomon Minor, Director of Movers. I'm here to explore.
Good evening. Mwangi Frame is my name. An administrator and also a protocol officer. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Cecilia Mweni. I work for Rolling Cargo Limited. Rolling Cargo is a shipping company that offers logistics solutions, and we work with Biocare Kenya Limited. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Rachel Dunge. I work at BC Healthcare as a marketer. I'm here by invitation.
Good evening. My name is Lilian Omua. I work with Gold Star Kenya. It's an NGO where we work with HIV, TB, and NCD. And I'm glad that we have so many of our people here. The NCD lead somewhere there. We will touch base later.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Munge Washira, recovering type 2 diabetic, and Dr. Katambo. I cook for a living. The diet that I specialize in has helped me manage the condition, type 2 diabetes. Yeah, so I'm happy to be here to learn more about the product.
Allow me to stand. Mitigation of NCDs. Catherine Karekezi, Executive Director, Non-Communicable Diseases Alliance of Kenya. We are an NGO, which is a national umbrella body of different organizations working in the area of NCDs. Our membership cuts across professional associations, local and international NGOs, and most importantly, organizations led by persons with lived experience of NCDs. Thank you for the invitation.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I'm Dr. Rebecca Nandasaba. I'm consultant ophthalmologist, part of the Afyacode team. I take care of making sure that the eye health of all our patients is well taken care of.
Good evening. Rose Nahongo, an advocate by profession. I also work for the Social Health Insurer of Kenya, and I'm here as a guest with a keen interest on the safety and the security of the device. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Theophilus Munyao. I work for Parliamentary Service Commission as the PA to Kibwezi West MP, and I'm wearing brief, but Biocare my good friends, so I'm wearing two caps here. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Mohamed Kioko. I coordinate laboratory services in Machakos County. Thank you.
Good evening. Matata Musioki, nurse by profession. I'm coordinating MOPC clinics. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Naidman Jyothi. I'm the digital transformation lead at Avenue Healthcare Group.
Good evening. My name is Walter Ogonje. I'm the general manager for Medali Pharma, distributors of Sinocare products.
Good evening, all of you. My name is Adusi Mumani. I work for Medali Pharma as a marketer, and I'm glad to be here.
Hi, my name is Dr. Kip Mali. I'm a businessman and also an innovator. We do tech, and also we just innovated an ultrasound machine that is FDA and CE approved. Yes, we are also in the tech space here. That's what we do.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Damaris Noel. I'm here courtesy of my friend CEO, Mr. Augustine. And to add on that, I'm a pharmacist. And also to add on that, I'm a director of Kenya Medical Research Institute. Thank you.
Good evening, guys. My name is Mohamed Bailey. I'm part of the media team.
Hello, my name is Dr. Elias Mohammed, a medical podcaster, lead for Laughing Lab Coat, where we tell medical stories, teach people conditions, and how to live and get a better health. Thank you.
So good evening, my name is Dr. Daniel Katambo, CEO and founder of Afyacode.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Hemston Wasonga from High Ridge Pharmaceuticals, the sales manager, point of care division.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mr. Mohammed. I'm one of the first distributors of Sinocare in Kenya. I think I showed the way to Sinocare in Kenya, and a very good friend of Priscilla, and I'm one of the agents of Sinocare.
Thank you, Ms. Mohammed. Good evening, everyone. My name is George, and I come from Sinocare. Today is a great honor for me to stand here, and I really thank you for your great patience for waiting for this launching event. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, everybody. We have to break the ice. I am still James Wakungwi Sakwa. I have got several hats here. The first hat is that Musila was my desk mate at the university. That's why when he says Sakwa come, I go. I am a principal medical lab scientist at the Department of Medical Lab Science, at the School of Public Health, Biomedical Science and Technology, at Masinde Muliro University of Science and Technology in Kakamega County. That is hat number 2. Hat number 3. I am the Secretary General of the Association of Kenyan Medical Lab Assessors. Our business is to ensure that labs conduct business in a quality manner. They might be licensed, but there's no quality. So we subscribe to ISO 15189, the only medical lab international standard that guarantees competence. You can carry papers, but you're not competent. Hat number 4. I am a member of the board of directors of the Kenya Medical Laboratory Technicians and Technologies Board, where I was elected by my colleagues in the Association of Kenya Medical Lab Scientific Officers to represent the private sector, because I run a private referral laboratory in South Sea known as Donovan Diagnostic Limited. Thank you very much, and most welcome. Back to you.
Okay, now everybody has shouted the name. And also Sakwa said the mic is the one shouting. Now we are going back now to business.
welcome so much. I will recognize a few people. We have Madam Dr. Damaris, Kemuri Director. She's with us. I will also recognize, thank you. I will also recognize my senior, Mr. Mohammed, the CEO, Irish Pharmaceutical. He's an old man. He's the age of my father, I know. He's the one who introduced us to this diagnostic medical field. But soon, watu wazima usema mzee akizeeka watoto wanaingia, si ndio? So he's already given us a chance. I will also welcome Mr. George Chen from China, Sinocare Limited. He's based in a town called Changsha. Is it north of China?
It's in the middle part of
Middle part of China. Okay. I will also recognize a very powerful man who has also given us a chance, gave us a lot of information about diabetic type 1 and type 2. He's dealing with patients at Kenyatta, and also he has a private business in Fortis. Dr. Katambo is my brother from another mother. I will also not forget, although he speaks a lot, he's a politician, Mr. Sakwa. Leave alone being a college mate, he was also my desk mate. You know, ukianza kusoma unauzea unaingia, he used to wake up me. Hey, mzee amuka masomo imepita. I will also recognize another guy from China called David Kimani. He's a man who has supported us for a long time in Kenya, Nigeria, and also in East Africa with diagnostics. I will also appreciate everybody I've not mentioned. So now we are going to begin. And as I've told you, Sinocare is a company which deals with mostly diabetic patients. As Mohammed has mentioned, he's the first man to bring the diagnostic from Sinocare for diabetic patients. The meters, the glucometer we use. Mohammed was the first one to introduce. I think I was the second, but I did more better than him because I traveled from here to China, a place called Changsha. So I think I did more better than him. Yeah? So today we are going to talk about diabetic. Now we are in a phase 2 where now we are shifting from the pricking technology to measure blood sugar levels in your body. Now we are having this gadget called ICAN CGM, which is a continuous glucose monitoring system. Then today we'll talk about that. We have some few meters with us. We'll select people randomly. I think you've already installed the ICAN Health in your phones. We'll select people randomly. I think ladies, we can put them here. Guys, we can put it somewhere. The only problem is when you are doing your activities. People may be shocked, but you have to inform them, okay, I'm not under life support machine. So you need to be careful. You know, this technology we are introducing, but many people don't know. You may just move your shirt somewhere, people run. They, oh, we are dealing with this, almost you are going. So you have to inform people what we are doing. So sitachukua wakati mwingi. I will hand over the phone, the microphone to Sakwa, who will moderate for us. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's clap for Mozilla. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are now on the business of the day, and without much ado, I would like to, Mr. Msila, are you done with the opening remarks? Thank you very much. Next on schedule is George Chen, the sales manager, Africa, Sinocare Incorporation, and he's going to talk to us about what is CGM and CGM features and its usage. A big hand for George. Welcome.
Good evening, everyone. My name is George, and today is a great honor for me to stand here because I feel really excited to introduce Sinocare and the product to all of your professionals and all the people who is dedicated themselves to the diabetic field. Thank you. So first of all, I will use few words to briefly introduce about our company. So Sinocare was founded in 2002. So now we got more than 20 years old. And in 2004, we have promoted our first glucose meter to the China domestic market. And in 2012, we have become the first biosensor company listed in China's stock market. Since then, we have become already the #1 in Chinese retail market. And in 2016, the same year, we have acquired 2 United States companies. One is called Biocare Health. Formerly, their name is Nipro. They won 15% of the market share for the glucose meter in United States. And the same year, we have also acquired PTS Diagnostic. They were ranked #2 for the HbA1c testing in the United States and ranked #3 of the lipid profile testing. And their product is A1C Now and CardioCheck. And in 2022, Sinocare has developed a new industrial park, which is called Qinshan Park. This park is fully compliant with the CGM manufacturing capacity. So nowadays, our manufacturing capacity can reach 10 million sensors per year. And in 2023, we have launched our CGM domestically, and now it's time to our CGM to the international market. Thank you. So there are some highlights that I have mentioned. I will just brief here. So we have over 65% of the market share in Chinese retail market, and we ranked #1 in online blood glucose meter sales for 10 consecutive years. And now we have over 25 million users worldwide, and our business has exported to 135 countries with more than 4,500 employees in total. Since we have decided to move to the international market, we have now more than 6 international subsidiaries besides the US company. We also have Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, and Thailand are our 6 subsidiaries. So this is the operating income of our company. So actually, it shows that Sinocare is keep innovation, and then we are making a very stable and steady development. Regarding R&D, this is something that is very important. So Sinocare has spent average about around 9% of the total sales revenue for R&D team. And we have now got 7 R&D centers and 8 production bases worldwide. So the vision of Sinocare has become gradually changed. At the beginning, because our vision is to become the blood glucose meter promoter in China. And since then, we have already got the #1 market share in China. Our vision become a global diabetes monitoring expert. And since our CGM has been successfully developed, actually it took around 7 to 8 years for our development, but since we have finished, our vision now become a leading diabetes digital management expert in the world. Because not only the CGM, not only the glucose, we also have a full, strong portfolio, including the lipid profile testing, hemoglobin analyzer, uric acid analyzer, etc. So now my topics will flow into the CGM. First of all, what is CGM? CGM stands for the Continuous Glucose Monitoring System. It's a system that continues monitoring your glucose concentration in subcutaneous, in interstitial fluids through a glucose sensor. So which is very important here is that the detection object is in the interstitial fluid glucose concentration. The CGM, usually we say there is a 3 part. First, there is a small sensor. The small sensor is to collect the electron transfer and make detection. And then we also have a transmitter. The transmitter is going to collect all this data and send the transmitter to the cell phone. Because we also need a cell phone or a reader. We can say a compatible reader. So it can, after calculation, it will transfer this electron signal to the glucose concentration and show on your cell phone. So the detection of CGM and BGM actually is totally different. For BGM, what we usually do is to do fingerprint. So the BGM is testing your glucose in your capillary, while CGM is testing the interstitial fluid because of the meter exchange between the interstitial fluid and the blood vessel. So there is always a lag time for about 4 to 15 minutes, depending on different person. So some of the patients, first time they use the CGM, they will feel a little bit anxious regarding the readings, so they will use the BGM to check. Well, this is very common. Well, we have to say that because when your glucose is very stable, for example, you're fasting, then of course the CGM and BGM readings are very similar. However, if you are doing after exercise or after insulin because your glucose will going down, in this way, because I mentioned there is a lag time, the BGM readings usually will decrease further, and then after maybe few minutes, the readings will show on the CGM. The same theory of when your blood glucose rises after a meal, the BGM readings always rise first and then come out with the CGM readings. So there is a difference between the interstitial fluid, arterial, and capillary, according to the clinical studies. It means that even at a certain time when you are doing a test for BGM, for capillary blood, for arterial blood, or even for interstitial fluid, we can see this line here. Even at the same time, the value is different. However, then what's the use of CGM? The CGM is, we need to analyze the trend because the dynamic tendency is the same. No matter the value is different, but how to control your fluctuation is more important. So, also someone may ask about this lag. The lag time, will it affect us? Actually, according to our studies, because the glucose concentration in interstitial fluid is the most important one, because interstitial fluid is the first place where cells and the body use glucose. And it's also the main place of abnormal blood sugar to damage your body. So we think the glucose concentration is the truly reflect the pathophysiological effects of glucose. Okay. The importance of CGM. For this part, I will also invite Dr. Kanabo to say more details, so I will go briefly here. So the CGM, basically, they will help people to get better self-management. Why? Because there is a chart for you to see every 3 minutes of your glucose reading, which means 7,160 readings during this whole 15 days. And after that, you will get an AGP report. This AGP report is for doctors, for health care professionals to see and then to give the advice of the patients. And also, there's another important parameter, which is the time in range. Time in range is the time that you spend in a regular, normal glucose concentration. So there are a lot of multiple international magazines mentioned about the CGM importance. You can see here, even the time in R, they're saying is a core metric for blood glucose control in patients with diabetes, which only the CGM could provide the time in range. This is how our AGP reports looks like. There are a few parameters which is very important. The GMI, it will be estimated as your future lab A1C value. The GV, which is the glucose variability, this is also very important. For example, maybe some patients, they have a good A1C. However, if their variability is very high, then it means that the patient still need to better control it. So this also is a very good, very important parameter. So ideally, we think that the variability should be less than 36%. And also, timing range I've mentioned many times. These are some other core metrics which will also be provided in our AGP report, including the time above range, time below range. This is the AGP report, how it looks like. Okay, so to conclude this, the time in range is related to a certain diabetes complications. The more time that you spend in range, then the less likely you are to develop certain diabetes complications. According to the reference of studies, for every 10% decrease in the time in range, then the risk of all-cause mortality increased by 8%, and the risk of cardiovascular mortality increased by 5%. So now we think that we should get a complementary role for TIR and HbA1c together to because HbA1c only provides a long-term control. However, the TIR can help patients to get a more detailed profile of your glucose. For example, if two patients have the same A1C as well, but you can never distinguish the patient with a Down phenomenon or small G phenomenon. But with CGM, you can see clearly the difference, so doctors will make the appropriate suggestions for that. So I usually like to use this picture to illustrate what's the difference. So we can think that glucose meter is you are taking certain points, because maximum your patients can take like 5 times, that's maximum for a day. And also A1C is the average value. So if we think the glucose profile is a bowl of fruit with mango, with kiwi fruit, with strawberry, then you can never get the detail of between these two. However, the CGM will display a more clear and more specific information than BGM and HbA1c. Actually, there is a classification of CGM. So typically, there is first of all, there is an Abbott Freestyle Libre 1 in the market before. Actually, it was called FGM. It's Flash Glucose Monitoring System. Why? Because the Libre 1 is testing 15 minutes, and then you have to use a scanner to scan every 8 hours. If you forgot to scan it, then the data might miss, because sometimes you are falling asleep. And also, you cannot see a long of it. However, now they have made some progress. And now what we are discussing is the real-time CGM, because the real-time CGM is using by Bluetooth transmission. So it means that no matter you are scanning or there is no scanning, no matter you are opening your cell phone and application at day 1 or day 3 or day 14, day 15, all the data will be stored in this sensor. It can store for 15 days. So sometimes people may lose even their memory, but for the application it will restore for 15 days. And also, it can have a reminder of the hyperglycemia and hypoglycemia, because we can customize your range to make this more appropriate for your personal use. And for real-time CGM, there is also 2 classifications. One is we call it the one-use cycle. The other is the reuse transmitter. For reuse of transmitter, there is a Dexcom. Dexcom G6, they are using this technology. What's the difference? The difference is that the transmitter can be used for many times. You can recharge and do that. And however, our technology is using a one-use cycle. It means that the sensor and transmitter are integrated with one system, so you can always use one time and throw it away. So what's the advantage of this one-use cycle? Actually, there's a lot of advantages. First of all, the reuse of transmitter. If you are in hospital, then you can never guarantee there might be a risk of cross-infection. This is the first reason. Second reason is that the transmitter with the sensor, if they are combining together, there is always a space between it. So when people are taking shower or what, because it's not as that integrated, so sometimes it can cause a leakage. And also, the size of a transmitter is bigger. So people will feel not that comfortable because of this. So that's why we have used the one-use cycle technology. So for this is actually it's a generation of the technology. First generation was developed by Dexcom and Medtronic. Second generation was developed by Abbott. So what's the difference? The difference is that during the first generation, Dexcom, they need a chemical reaction, which is the substrate as oxygen and then the product as hydrogen peroxide. I know this is a little bit complicated here. So the thing is that because of this technology, we know that there is always an oxygen deficiency. Deficiency in your interstitial fluid will affect the release of the CGM. So this is the reason why Dexcom usually the usage life of Dexcom is 10 days. Because if they are existing more than 10 days, then the oxygen deficiency will affect their results more serious than before. okay, now Abbott has found this problem because of the oxygen deficiency, so that's why they have developed a new technology which there is no oxygen get involved in this reaction. They replace two mediators, oxidized mediators. In this way, they can solve the problem of the deficiency, and also they have changed their electrode from gold and platinum to carbon. So this is also the reason why their cost comparing with Dexcom is relatively lower. And also their mod value, which is the reference now we are using to compare the accuracy of CGM, is also lower than the other technology. Okay, and then since then, Sinocare has developed a new technology which is the third generation. What's the difference? There are two main differences. First one is that during our chemical reactions, we don't need any oxygen or even mediators to get involved. The sensor is collecting the direct electron transfer signal directly. So there will be no interference of anything like acetaminophen or ascorbic acid or salicylic acid, like all these kind of medications, because of this direct electron transfer. Secondly, we are using a different enzyme here. If you can see the enzyme of first and second generation, they are using GOD, or you can see GOX. This is widely used in a lot of glucose meter. But we are using GDH. This is a different enzyme, but now it's already widely used in EchoCheck, in OneTouch, in CountTube, and also in all of Sinocare's blood glucose meter, because this enzyme is a more advanced enzyme. And also because of these two main differences, the strong interference and also the mod value become relatively lower compared with other suppliers. So right now there's data you also can see on the brochure in front of you. This is the clinical studies we have done in the National Research Center and also in our US Research Center, our subsidiary. So according to right now, there is no ISO standard for CGM. There is only a reference for BGM ISO. So in BGM, it mentioned that it requires 99% of all data pairs to be located in Zone A and Zone B. We know that Zone A has no effect on clinical action, and Zone B have a little bit effect on clinical outcome. However, during our testing, we are using this standard, but during our testing, we have made 1,668 data pairs, comparing with the CGM readings with the biochemistry analyzer. And our result is that 100% of the readings has failed in Zone A plus Zone B. To go more details here, actually there is the mod value is, we are saying is average mod value. Usually when we are doing the tests in the clinical labs, there will be 3 stages. Early stage usually is day 2, and then there will also the comparison in the middle stage, which is day 7 to day 9, and then we will make a late stage comparison, which is the last day, day 15. So we can see the data here that in the early stage, all of the CGM, the mod value is relatively higher than the middle stage. Why? Because when your body getting used to a new sensor, a new small gadget into your body, you will have some reactions. So this is a very normal phenomenon. But when our body gets used to it, the mod value of all CGM will become lower. And then at a late stage, because of the reasons I've mentioned, like the deficiency or some other things, the mod value will go higher a little bit again. However, the overall mod value of Sinocare has shown the best among the market suppliers. So now I'm going to the last part, which is the Sinocare CGM, ICAN i3. This is how our CGM looks like. It has 3 components. The first one is the sensor pack. The sensor pack is packed in a sterilized package. And we also have a transmitter pack, which is at the bottom is a tray. And then the last thing is the ICAN Health application. So only when sensor transmitter application work together, it complies a system. But this is fully disposable. So this implement process actually is very easy. So first we just need to take out the sensor from the box, and then we assemble it with the transmitter, and then we also design a lock, because in case some patients, the first time they use, they may misusing it. So with this lock, it can prevent any damage. So when patients, they unlock this safety lock, they can be able to implant on their abdomen or even the back of arm. And then the application will automatically connect with your sensor. So after 2 hours sensor warm-up time, it will be outcome with the readings. So about our CGM, what's the features? So first of all, we update the readings for every 3 minutes. So 15 days, it get out with 7,160 readings. And also the sensor can have 15 days memory duration, and there is no need for any scanning. You just open your cell phone, the Bluetooth will connect it automatically. And we can also got a customizable alerts and alarms. What does it mean? For example, if your doctor think that you can set up your hypoglycemia at 4, or usually it's 3.9, but you can set up as 4.5 or even 5. This, I mean, you can do it as your customized, and also your cell phone will give the notification when you are set up the range. And also, the CGM will provide the trend analysis, of course. And also, we have done the factory calibration, which means that there is no need for any manual calibration. It will be more convenient. So this is how our sensor looks like. The size of this is like a coin, the size, and also it's a waterproof level of IP28. The 2 means that we even have a dust proof. And for the level 8, which is the waterproof, then it means that you can water resistant up to 2.5 meter for 2 hours. So it means that people can wear it while swimming or take shower, there's no problem with it. And there's some other demonstration for this. Actually, there's like a trend for people to see. It will give like predictions. And also you can see, you can add your event here. So for example, you are taking an insulin dosing or you are after exercise. So you will see all the difference fluctuate. And we also have a daily average mode, which means that you can see every day during these 15 days what is how good you are controlling it. What is the highest level? What is the lowest level? What is your average level? And how many times you are spent in your range. And also we have a comparison mode in the application, so which means that you can compare this day with yesterday or any day during your real life. So you will see the difference of your activities. And also, because the vision of Sinocare is carried a lot, so there are a lot of parents, friends, they will also care about it. So they can use another application to see, to monitor for it, to help you. And regarding, besides this, we also consider about the healthcare professionals, because they have a lot of patients. How can they manage them? Then we have developed the ICAN review platform. With this platform, you can see as many patients' information as you want, and you can even go more detail on your website, on the website. So like the daily glucose report, glucose data for every 3 minutes you can see, and for the history records. So in case you have a patient which is now hypoglycemia, then you can immediately call him and then warn him, remind him. Okay, so this is the last part about our academic fields. So actually Sinocare is keep making ourselves to be shown on the academic fields. For example, there are some abstract of the ATTD and the EASD and other magazines. For example, the last week, September 9th, there was a EASD conference in Europe, and then we got a speech at this date. This is agenda for it, and it was introduced by some key opinion leaders from Europe, from Germany, and from the United States. Last, this is a link of our Sinocare in Academic Conference in 2023 EASD. So I mean, so if you have interest, you can just click the link and see it online every time. Okay. Thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you very much, George. Please clap for George. Once more. I allowed George more time because you know that he who pays the piper calls the tune. We might miss our dinner if we cut him short, so we have 25 minutes to our dinner time. So the rest of the speakers we have already negotiated that they have to cut their speeches. Because I'm on the podium, my role today, other than moderating, I was supposed to talk about safety. I did allude to the fact that I'm the Secretary General of Association of Kenya Medical Lab Assessors. And in our standard 15189, one of the cardinal things that exists in that standard is safety. So anything we do, we must ensure that everybody is safe. From the patients to ourselves and members of the health team, plus the environment. Our code of ethics requires that we take care of the environment. And we all know that piercing with lancets or needles is a biohazard. So for us, we had to be here to say that we are very happy about this revolutionary innovation because it eliminates the issue of pricking patients. And we have seen people running away from the phlebotomy room because of a pricker. So we are now sure that our patients will be calm. There's no point of piercing them. Otherwise, if we continue piercing them, they look like a T-sieve. So we are very happy about this. Sinocare and Biocare. Safety issues. The testing of glucose has been a hazard in itself. When I joined this profession many years ago, I'm not too old and I'm not too young. At least I saw Uhuru's father. Some of you just read about him. So I saw him, I sang for him when I was in class 2. When we started testing glucose then, we were using a method called modified king and acetyl. And it involved boiling the mixture of blood. First of all, you denature the proteins, then you remain with supernatant after centrifuging, then you boil for 12 minutes in boiling water. That water in itself is a hazard. The other hazard, if you're not careful, the test tubes will tilt and take water. So the experiment stops. Right? Then after some time, we had a glucometer from Germany called Amis. Amis was a company. I think Bayer, that brand name was Amis. That was the first glucometer. Today we have seen so many glucometers in the market. But now with this revolution, everything else changes. That you have continuous glucose monitoring. Not only when you have a headache or you're feeling thirsty or you're urinating too much, continuously you're monitoring your levels. That is very good for the patient because of personalized medicine. We are moving towards handling patients through their genetic constitution. You get 23 chromosomes from your father, from your mother. It determines how you even respond to medicine. That is where the world is. And with this innovation, we are perfectly there because the monitoring is continuous. You don't have to go anywhere. The gadget is on you throughout. So you are continuously, there can never be better personalized medicine other than this continuous monitoring. Now, we have been talking as health workers about injection safety. Now, when we are eliminating pricking, we are subscribing to the current world trend of injection safety. The issue of piercing people, even in administering medicine, people are running away from. Most of the people you see limping in these streets was because of an injection given wrongly. They were not born like that. So the world is moving towards that, and with this discovery, then we are actually subscribing to the world or global trends. Finally, non-communicable diseases. Diabetes is causing havoc. We've been told here in the course of introduction that people lose eyesight. Yeah, people die because of this. Kidneys fail. We have to stop the issues of going to hospital when you have a headache. We must do what we call continuous examination of your system to see if they are working. Most of the people here who have vehicles, every time you're telling your spouse, this vehicle has not gone for service and the mileage is over. How about your own mileage? You are taking a machine that is insured, that if something happens you can buy another. But who insures your life? If you die, even if they gave you money, will you come back? Will you? You can come back because when your relatives name you, you have come back. But are you the very same? So we want people to look at what we call health checkups routinely. You check how you are. Musila and I have seen enough people in pain. We are tired. We're almost retiring. We want to start seeing people who are healthy, who come and just say, check my kidneys. Are they performing well? How is my heart? How is my pancreas? That's what you want to do. How are my lipids? Not waiting till you're sick. Sometimes when you wait till you're sick, the damage is done and it becomes irreversible. Nowadays I tell my relatives, anybody who suffers stroke and survives, it means they have some pending business. Actually, you're supposed to die. Yeah, you're supposed to die. But if for any reason you survive, God wants you to pay the tithes you have not paid, so you better hurry up. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Musila to come and talk to us. Mr. Musila, you have got 5 minutes. I've set the pace. You have 20 minutes to our dinner. Welcome to the podium.
Okay, as Sapa said, I'm going to be very brief. Just application of this CGM. This gadget, there are like 4 applications. The first one, everybody I think has done it, is what we call ICAN Health. Depending on where you put it, either here or on your arm. That application, you'll be able to monitor your sugar levels in your phone, comfortably, in your bed. That is the basic. Then when you get your results, everybody here knows how to screenshot. You can screenshot, share to a friend or to a doctor. That is the first basic. Number 2, we have ICAN Reach. ICAN Reach can support like 10 users. You can see your sugar levels. You can share to like a maximum of 10 people. You can share to your doctor, your friends, anybody, but a maximum of 10. The third one is ICAN Review. This is where the ball lies, especially with the doctors. Now, the doctor on his laptop can have as many as 200 patients. The review, the doctor can be seated in his office, can review all the patients. Maybe you are in Makueni having some mudokoi, the sugars are alarming. Maybe you don't know, you are just enjoying your mudokoi in Makueni. Mohammed here might be eating a lot of chapati somewhere, not in Islay, but in Westland. I know you moved to Westlands. Your sugar levels are high, you don't know. So the doctor is able to monitor. Yeah? So the doctor is able to monitor and call you. Dr. Katambo can call you. Musila, are you in Makueni? Yes, very comfortable feeding in my Kideri. Oh, you don't know your sugar levels are very high. Sakwa, in Busia, Butere Mumias. Si mnajua Waluya wanapenda ugali. Especially gani? Ile ya kusiaga na machine. No, not ichogo. In Kikamba we call it tutu. Ile uga ya tutu. And you know lawyers, they love ugali. That is a fact. So, Sakwa na swaga ugali this level. The doctor can call him, hey Sakwa, what is happening? Reduce the size of your ugali. So, these are applications which with time and with this, such meetings we shall be impacting. We've started with the simplest one. Just a monitor, you can view even history. But now, these key applications will be able to educate you on how to use, especially when we meet doctors just in your room. You have like 20 patients, you'll be monitoring them. So that is a review. Mostly would be for doctors on their laptops. They can review your status wherever you are. The last one, but not the least, is called ICAN Reader. We have elderly parents who cannot use their mobiles. We have school-going kids who are small. They are not allowed in school to have mobile phones. So there's a reader. When you put the gadget, you can just read, you can share to your phone, then you can share to either doctor or your parent. So the last one is for those people, maybe elderly, they don't know how to operate mobile phones. They will have just to read and share to their loved ones or their doctors. So in short, those are the applications we are intending to do on this machine. So this is what I'm coming to. Now this is what we call telemedicine. As I was watching news the other day, Muranga, the county, the guy, is it Kanyata? Kangata. Yes, introduced such medication, whereby the patients don't flow to the hospital unless you are going to be admitted. So this is what we are going to do now. This is real telemedicine. So with those few words, just very simple. That is the information I was delivering tonight. Thank you very much.
Please clap properly. Thank you very much, CEO, Biocare Health Systems Limited. We have listened to ICAN 4 times. And he ended with real telemedicine. That is where the world is. These forms are not just for betting. There are better things you can do with them. So without much ado, I want to bring to the podium Dr. Daniel Katambo. Dr. Daniel Katambo will be talking to us about clinical evaluation and interpretation of results stroke data, a comparison between continuous glucose medicine and blood glucose medicine. Dr. Katambo is a medical doctor. He has also masters in public health. He is a member of the Royal College of Physicians, London, UK. Put your hands together for Dr. Katambo. And as he comes to the podium, he wants to correlate and compare blood glucose monitoring and continuous glucose monitoring. Dr. Katambo, the floor is yours. 15 minutes to dinner.
Yes, that should be enough. Good evening, everyone. I'm glad to be here. Thank you for coming, and thank you so much for coming. I know some people were recognized before, but I want again to really make sure that I recognize the CEO of NCD-DAC, that is Dr. Karekezi, the acting CEO of DMI, that is Joanne, the team from CTI. I'm just seeing Dr. Matolo somewhere. Dr. Matolo is from Old Mucho. Mr. Kikonyo, karibu sana. And I hope I'm not missing somebody else. Karibuni sana. Thank you so much for coming. I'll give you a very small brief history. I do talk a lot about weight loss and diabetes, and especially managing diabetes without the use of drugs. And one of the most significant things that was disturbing my mind was how to tell my patients to monitor how their food is being affected by what? I mean, how their blood sugar is affecting their sugar. And a couple of years ago, I embarked in the same clinical practice where I was at the time. I was working in Bermuda, and I saw significant changes in what glucose monitors at the time were doing. But when I came back to Kenya, these were not available, and it became very difficult because what do we tell our patients to eat in the morning? Mchango kidogo kidogo haraka, niko na 15 minutes. Yes? Bread ya gani? Brown. Does it raise sugar or not? But why do we eat it then? Ndoma? Wash it? But do you think everybody knows this? No. So when somebody would come to the clinic and I'm trying to tell them, do you know your sugar has gone up because of these things? They don't understand. So I would envy all the time. How can I get something that I can use to tell patients that, you know what, your sugar was this before you ate this thing, and after you eat, this is what it is. And the best that we had was what? Pricking. So you prick yourself once in the morning. How many people know people with diabetes? Kila mtu, si ndio? How many times do they prick themselves in a day? 3. Wakienda sana. Otherwise it is once. And it's usually in the morning. Is that enough to check your sugars? It is not. And that becomes a big or a problem in the future because you are not able to monitor your sugars and see exactly what's happening, especially after you eat. So this technology is really a good technology and revolutionizing, especially to those physicians who do practice diabetes management and even weight. So I will be very brief. I know this was shown and I knew George will show it, but I want you to figure out something. That your table is your blood vessel. Where you are seated is what? Your blood vessel, either your artery or your vein. That is where the blood sugar circulates into. In between the spaces is what we call the interstitial fluid. Sour. So your blood vessels are in the table, and in between here is the interstitial fluid. This continuous glucose monitor your sugar in the interstitial space, not in the blood. And that, if you have that concept in your mind, then it becomes very clear for you to understand that kama nyinyi watu, kama damu haina sukari, hapa nje kuna sukari. Yes? Kama kwa meza ama kwa damu hakuna sukari, will the space in between the vessels have sugar? No. And that is scenario number 1. So if you are hungry and there is no blood, there is no elevated blood sugar, then your blood sugar levels are usually normal. But upon just injecting yourself an insulin or you take medication, what will happen to the blood in your vessels? It goes down, but the blood in the interstitial fluid is still where? Still high. That is scenario number 2. Do you think if I'm monitoring my sugar then, if I'm monitoring my sugar in between the vessels, I will see some difference? This is something that you as a clinician or the patient, you have to put in mind when you are interpreting continuous glucose monitor. Because scenario number 3 is very important. Where now when you eat, all right, the blood vessel, the sugar in the blood vessel raises faster than the sugar in between the blood vessels. So you have to expect a lag period of 4 to 20 minutes. Now, I said I was bothered when I was doing what I do. So I developed a book, and I was telling George today that I have to talk about the book. I don't know where it's kept to. And this book became very important because, number 1, I was disturbed in telling people how these sugars, how the foods that we eat affect our sugar levels. So I developed a book that would show if you eat a banana, maybe 2 of them can have up to 12 teaspoons of sugar. All right? And then maybe if you eat maybe 2 chapatis or something, that might give you up to 27 teaspoons of sugar. But then how do you translate that into information that when you actually eat that, after some time that is going to raise? And the same now became problems when, for example, when I tell a patient to eat doma. Most of us are told to eat doma in the house, sindio? So I have no problem with doma. I can also eat them. But if you're diabetic and you eat 3 of them, how much sugar have you put in your body? Like 15. And then you show up in the clinic at around 10 with sugars that are high. And then I increase your insulin. Right? But if you woke up and ate the eggs, 2 eggs or 1 egg, how much sugar do you get? But our people don't take this because they have been told eggs have what? Cholesterol. And the same applies to whether we are talking about brown or white ugali. According to that picture, which one has more sugar? Brown ugali. And yet when tukienda nyumbani, what do we tell our patients to eat? Yeah, so we got to be very careful with what we are advising our patients to do. So in this, do you think now we are able to monitor exactly what will happen if they eat brown ugali? It's going to be very easy. And the same will happen to that lunch that you say after the gym. You grab what? Fruits. And a bowl full of fruits can have what? Up to 12 teaspoons of sugar. Now, I'm not saying they're not healthy. They are healthy. But if you're living with diabetes, ama public opinion. Niseme public opinion yenye nani yako nayo hapa? Sitasema. But if you're dealing with it, for sure, what do you think will happen to your sugar? But they are healthy, right? Yeah. So are we going to eat them? But how are we going to tell people that this is going to be a problem if we do not have the technology to do it? It is difficult, but now, not anymore. It's going to be very easy. One mango of that one coming from where my friend comes from can have up to 16 teaspoons of sugar. And an orange, the same. Sitawaonyesha picha mingi, sasa mkuje mununue kitabu. Alafu tutapromote kidogo, sawa? Now, I want to jump straight to this, but I've been given very few minutes. I don't want to bore you. I understand that we do not have, all of us are not medical professionals, so we will talk about in-depth analysis of what happens. George and Mzila have talked about the HGP report. Now, there are several aspects to the continuous glucose monitor. When you finish 15 days, you can download something like this in your phone. It will actually tell you to download something like this that looks like this. It will have a window here that is showing these things here, which I will talk about, and then another window there, which I will talk about, and then another window here, which I will also talk about, and then a lot of graphs that you will see there. I will really just be very, very brief on what this means, everything. Otherwise, this is for medical professionals. When we download this and you bring it to our clinic, it could really, really vary on what happens. But I want you to check onto these 6 steps, very important. If you can just remember these 6 steps, then you're good. I've finished my talk. Number 1, what are the 6 steps to interpretation? Number 1, evaluate data accuracy. Look at the data and make sure that it is actually collected. You have the data. Is it correct? Is it there? Look at the attainment. View the timing range, the AGP, median curves. I just mentioned what they are, and then evaluation of the most important thing, especially for the guys who are using insulin and other drugs called sulfonylurea. What do you think is the most important thing that is going to revolutionize them? Their blood glucose levels, whether they are going hypo or hyper. Now it becomes just within a click or just looking at your phone, and you can be able to see your levels quite clearly. So that is going to be quite easy to monitor. Adjustment of medications. Of course, there are some things that if your sugar levels are going down at a certain point, we need to adjust your medications. Lifestyle modifications. Of course, if your sugars are quite high, very high, and within the 5th percentile or the 95th percentile, then we also need to adjust your medications. And then patient engagement, communication with patient. One of the things that we are not very good at is, right now, nimesema too, that this is for physicians. But when you come to the clinic, when you are going to download this data, make sure that you work it with your doctor so that it makes some sense with you. that what this data means to you as a person or as the patient is very important, because I have 200 patients to monitor this, but this is going to be personalized to you. This is exactly your data. Now, as I said, there are the indicator window that will show the indicators and objective. This is the dynamic glucose curve. And then we have the continuous glucose curve. Now, this is the AGP in full, as in what you will be able to see, especially when you just download after 15 days. Now, most of you, I don't know whether you've seen this cutting. This cutting is just like here. You can see. You just attach it on your arm like this. And especially if you are well endowed, then you have a lot of subcutaneous tissue. Mimi kuitafuta inaweza kuwa shida. So be careful for thin people, be careful. Those guys who are muscular, make sure that you can give the option of them getting it here on the abdomen. But most of us, I think their arms are good and you can get it there. You plug it in here for 15 days. You can swim with it, you can sleep with it, you can walk, shower with it. That is actually, you just plug it in there for 15 good days. And this is the data that it gives you after 15 days. Now, this is the first window. You see this window here? I've just expanded it here, where it shows you the time above range. Now, you see this thing is divided into three, okay, it's supposed to be three colors. That is the yellow, the green, and the red. But you see here it is super divided again. Now, the green means time in range. This is where we target. We want you to be around green as much as possible at 70% of the time. All right? We want you to be at the green area. All right? Time above the range. Most of the range is, we usually design, or the average we usually take it between 3.9 and 10. That is where we've set it, 3.9 and 10. So if we download this and we are able to see time in range should be that percentage of time that you are between 3.9 and 10. That is time in range. That is where we want you to be. And it should be 70% of the time. If you have time above range is anything above 10. And that is here divided into, again, 3 times. So, 2 times. So you have anything that is more than 10 is divided into 2, where it is just high and very high. And if it is high, it is high 25 times and very high 31 times. And in this case, if you combine this, 56% of this guy or the lady was time above range. Do you think this patient is well managed? We need to look at something and make sure that we are increasing the green zone. Now, if you look at time below range, again, it's divided into 2. There is the low and the very low. If it is between 3 to 3.9, again, you can divide it and you can see this patient is at around 4%, and anything below 3, again, is 4%, and this is 8%. Our target is make sure that that number is less than 4% of the time. Now, the next window, if you remember, was this window here. All right, I hope this window there. That window there is what you are seeing here. And that window shows you the average blood glucose. So if I'm taking your sugars every 3 minutes, that I'm able to take that number and get your average, right? That is the average. And then glucose monitoring indicator. This, after sometimes, it starts to show you what do you expect to be your HbA1c. All right, I hope that makes sense. And then glucose variability. It is, today umeamka sukari iko 4, kesho iko ngapi? 18, the next time iko ngapi? Iko 6, the next time iko, so this measures your glucose variability levels. And then there is this big chart here. Now, we will really allow me to skip all this. It's a lot of information, but it's very important. You just need to know that their ambulatory glucose profile, their lines, you need to be more into the 3.9 to 10. And the green part here is the median line here. And the median line You know, the way the CGM works, it checks your sugars exactly the same time every day. So if I'm checking your sugars every day at 8 today, and tomorrow 8, and tomorrow 8, and the next day 8, am I able to plot your chart for a full 24 hours, even if it is 15 days? So you collect all those numbers for 8:30 and you put them together. For those numbers for 10:30, you put them together. And then for numbers for 10:30, you put them together. So exactly what you're seeing here is data for 15 days presented in one day. That is what chart that shows. So if I'm checking the sugars for at 10, I can come here and check with this patient at 10 or 12. You can see somewhere here at 12 where his sugar has been. So I can tell by just looking at this patient here, this is 12 a.m. to around, is this 8 a.m. You can see we have more green. So it means at night, roughly speaking, this patient has good what? Much better to sukari, because you can see there is more green. But what happens after 8? You can see all the curves are going up, right? Meaning the sugars are starting to go up after that, after something, or maybe overeating. But if you see the median is that number that is in the middle. Shows those numbers that are above, it's the middle of that hour. So if it's 8, and 8 today to 8 a.m., and then every day 8 a.m., yesterday it was 6, the next day it was 7, the next day it was 8, it takes the median number and plots it here. That is the most important number here, because it shows 50% of the numbers are above and the 50% of the numbers are low. And then the other percentiles are in between there. This will allow me to skip all of them because they make sense to doctors, and if any physician is willing, we can talk about them. Now, this is what you see per day. You see, this is the AGP here. This is very important. Now, you see, this is what you see per day. Now, at the end of the day, after 15 days, you are able to see the day you put. I put mine for 14 days because it's ending Kesho. 14 days ago. And I'm able to do, tomorrow I will be able to download each and every time what happened when I was eating at whatever. And the good thing is, the thing you can actually write exactly what you are eating and how you expect the sugars to be high. So I can count maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And when you come to the doctor, I know it is not clear. At some point you are seeing where there is red, there is yellow, the same things that you're seeing here can be plotted here, and you can be able to see what happened on Friday night, what happened on Thursday night, what happened on Saturday night, like today. I will not bore you again with this because I know George has gone through it. It's very important to know that time in range is now where we are moving to, but we cannot ever underestimate the role of HbA1c, which is really important, and that is exactly what we have been doing before. I know this has been done, and therefore thank you. I must say this. I traveled, last week there was an exhibition, and I could not make for the exhibition. And I had booked some flights. And so I arrived here on Sunday evening at night, and the next day my schedule was been very, very busy this week, and I want to appreciate George here because all through my travel and the time that they had this conference and the time we started conversing with him, I remember I told him, the continuous glucose monitors that are currently in the market are very expensive. And I cannot stand here and be part of any one of them if they are not at least much cheaper than what is in the market. And George offered and said, don't worry, we shall start somewhere, but at least it's more than half of what the others are, and we are hoping that we are going to have a better entry into the market and make sure that you guys take the message of continuous glucose monitors wherever you have it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Katambo. Please clap for him again. Excellent. Now we have come to the end of the presentations. Now we want to do the question and answer session. Because we were not in a sermon, we were not in our house of worship, we were discussing science. This is how we'll go. We'll give a chance for every table, and you will help me to be moderators at your table, so that we implement the constitution. If a lady shoots the first question, the next round it will be a man. I don't have to have problems implementing the constitution. I do it at my level always. So we'll go per table. So just monitor, if it's a lady who goes first, the next must be a man, so that we are 50-50. Okay? Not even 2/3. So which table wants to go first? Which table? You know, there might be no question in a table, so I don't have to force you to ask a question. So which table wants to go first? Anybody with a question here? Or even a comment? Next table? Yes, sir. Dr. Floor is yours.
Thank you for the presenters. I'm much excited. For me, it's personal. I'll ask a question, but allow me to say this. It's an exciting moment for the doctors in the room because NCD is becoming really a big crisis in our nation. So I'll ask the question about the second user and the third user. Because for me, I said it's personal because my mother died of an NCD in 2006. I've lived with my father from 2002 because of diabetes and hypertension. I lost many people in my family because of diabetes. So I'm here standing and excited from what Dr. was explaining, that even the glycemic index we teach our patients, we are not able to convince them on why they should even not take excess watermelon. So this is the best innovation in the house, and I believe from here, once we confirm the price shortly, that that we have been informed. For me, I want to take it personal and move with this thing in all the counties. We do medical camps every week, of course, twice a week, and this will be exciting. Now, my question is, assume I'm giving this meter and it's Bluetooth enabled. The second and third and fourth user or the viewers, can they see this data away from the patient? Because currently, I know from an example you said about Afyacode, the problem with, as much as they use the same technology maybe, the problem is that you must be around the patient. So can it be used remotely for the second, third, and fourth user? Yeah.
Do you want me to answer it?
Yes.
Proceed. Yeah, so you see the ICAN monitor is Bluetooth enabled. You need to be 6 meters away. And once that phone feeds the message to your app, now the app through the internet can feed to your app, wherever it is. So the users, the 10 users don't have to be within you. They can be anywhere in the world.
Happy, doctor? Yes. Excellent. Anybody else? A lady? Your time came, you passed, but I'll give you.
Yes, hello, good evening. My name is Ronald Kasioka. My question is, I have a friend, a few friends when you are they are in high school, boarding high schools, and you find that the device has to be connected to the mobile phone. So how is it, are we going to implement such a? Thank you.
Very quickly, I'll answer that one.
Proceed.
We said one of the applications of this ICAN machine or gadget is it has a reader, especially to take care of the elderly who doesn't know how to use a mobile phone, or pupils who are in school and they are not allowed to carry mobile phones. So you can use the reader, communicate to a phone, then share to either doctor or your parents. Thank you.
You're doing well. Any question here? Okay. Christopher? Yes, madam.
First of all, I'm excited to learn about the CGM because as doctors we have sometimes trouble explaining to people who have had this nutrition for a long time where they should adjust to the new one, but with this they will be able to see exactly what's happening. Now my question is, with the sensor, after those 15 days, do you change the sensor?
Sila.
You've touched me. That is where the business is. Wacha niongee sasa Kiswahili. Manake hapa lazima tubembelezane. Sasa, as it is indicated here, 15 days. Ikiisha, you pluck it out. You can dispose it. Then, hapo ndio maneno iko. You pluck another one. There's we'll take you through. After you scan it, it will be registered in your phone. Then after 15 days, it is expired. Huyu mheshimiwa amesema yake leo ni 14th day. So tomorrow, it will be expired. So you put another one, you scan 15 days. So a patient will need at least 2. Thank you.
Hello, I have a question. How many patches do you have in this pack?
1.
Just 1, huh?
Yeah.
So you need 2 for
a month.
For a month. Okay, thank you.
Let me just be, I know you're going to talk about price, but I'm standing here to tell you that you do not have to use the meter or the sensor continuously. You can actually use it intermittently, meaning you can use it for 15 days, stop, having learned what has happened, and then pause for 45 days, and then use it again. So you don't have to use it continuously. That we call intermittent continuous glucose monitoring. So you intermittently put the meter.
Now that's the difference between a businessman and a physician. Any question here?
Thank you for the presentation. Being one of the patients, Dr. Katambo's patients, I have been struggling with diabetes, and yes, it's a journey. I'm excited about this. But I wanted to ask, why 15 days? Why not 30? And then, I understand most of us are now wearing smartwatches. And is there a way you can also come with the same technology whereby we wear our watches and they monitor the blood sugar? I have a smartwatch with me, but I'm not sure it's accurate. It gives me my blood sugar, but I'm not sure it is accurate. Yes, I am not sure. It even reads, I know some of us, we have smartwatches, right? Some of us, and it even reads your BP. So why not also come with an innovation like a smartwatch? If that's all we can have. You know, right now if I put a patch on me, people will be scared to go injury. Like, that lady, you know, support machine, like support. Yeah, so I want to understand why the 15 days, why not 30 days? Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, I think for 15 days I have to explain here. Now, actually, 15 days is already the longest duration time in the market. For example, Dexcom is only 10 days, and Apple delivery is 14 days. Even though we are only 1 day longer, but we are still the longest. And this is not because of the business, it's because of the battery. The battery life right now, it can only exist for 15 days. Okay, regarding your second question, which is the one that why not can you use for testing? Is it accurate? I think I have to say now in China there's another technology. We will have a small device to detect the blood sugar. But I can tell you this can only happen after 5 to 10 years because now the technology is not that stable. Sorry about that. Thank you.
Question for Dr. Katambo. I'm his patient. I've reversed type 2 diabetes with his care. So my question is, when you were talking about the Sinocare product, there was something you mentioned and it caught my curiosity because I've been having an issue with, I've actually addressed that with you, the high blood sugar in the morning. And for me, this gadget would be very, very useful because I have a suspicion why my sugars might be going high in the morning. But then this would actually demystify the whole thing. So there are some instances where maybe it's something you've eaten, and I wanted to ask about the element of, is there a place where you can write notes that can help you remember what you did at that particular time that elevated your sugar? Because you see, that would make sense. You can't recall everything by mind, so I don't know if there's that interface.
Yeah, so yes, the mobile app application one, you can not only add notes or diet or whatever you're doing, you can also key in drugs and whatever time that you're taking them. And you can also add any activity. And there's also a place for notes. And there are several additions. I'm trying to see which they are. You can do diet, you can do exercise, you can do insulin, medication, and others. So you can do whatever time that you want. You can document those notes here. You've mentioned a very interesting phenomenon. There's something called Down phenomenon and Samogi phenomenon. One Down phenomenon is where at around 3 a.m., 4, 5, your sugar steadily starts to go up in response to cortisol. All right? And that happens in many people. So when you wake up in the morning, you find your sugars being a little bit up. Right? That's non-phenomenon, and that sorts out that issue because you will be able to see it. Now, Samogi effect is at around 3 a.m. or around 4 p.m. 4 a.m. at that wee time, because of drugs or some other effect, your sugar went low, hypo. You went into hypo. So your thing will show less than 3.5. So you will see a downward effect, and then a steady sugar increase in the morning. That's a big difference, and now you will be able to say whether your problem is Samogi or it's a Down phenomenon.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Clap for him. Please clap for this table. It has met the threshold of the Constitution 100%. Clap. You're not clapping. Thank you very much. Any question here? Thank you.
Good evening. I am Eric from BMI Center, and I'm glad to be in this forum. And my questions are also personal. First one is whether insurance are involved in this. From the word go to cover this, NCDs are very expensive. Second one is if temperature can affect the readings. I've seen that in some kilometers in our country, like in Githunguri and Limuru areas. Last one is if there is an alarm for either low sugars or high sugars at night.
Okay, you've touched my nerve. Insurance. I'll even expound more. Our next step will be insurance. So we are going to engage most of the insurance. If they will cover you, you don't need to be breaking your fingers. I know it is a hard task. Number two, I can elaborate more. Even will involve the government. If the government can procure these things, most of the hospitals, because as I told you, this is a telemedicine. Especially we start with, even we can do a pilot study, either Nairobi, Machakos, Kiambu, whereby the government can procure these equipment, we push them through KEMSA, then people can start from there. Then I know if this message is preached to everybody, we can even have subsidized prices. Correct. Can you remind me the last one? After insurance. Okay, alarms. That is where when you are installing this app, you have to put your password. The password will allow you to do your own settings. Even sometimes, I used to this thing, the way I was saying, when you eat ugali or chapati, especially a big portion, hey, I could not sleep. My wife could wake up, hey, what is happening? Wake up. My phone keeps on, and I know I'm not diabetic, but sometimes you can raise, I used to put like 10 or 11, the up, and the lower one 3.5. So because you are going to install this, put your password, you can now weigh yourself. But don't be alarmed because it will raise up, then after you will say normal, it will go back to normal. So there is no cause of alarm. Thank you very much.
Last one was on temperature. No, use the mic.
For the temperature, the problem that I would like to answer is that for the CGM, the temperature can last for 45 Celsius degree. But this doesn't mean, I know maybe here is sometimes is over 40, but this means the temperature internal of the sensor is 45 degree. Maybe it's outside is 50 degree, but this here is only still 40. So most of the time it will be very okay with it. Thank you.
Yeah, just very quickly to encourage George and this company, Sinocare, to do your very best to implement this solution for smartwatches. I think the question that was mentioned there is very valid. Lots of students that have type 1, type 2 diabetes need a way to be able to access this data. They can't carry smartwatches, smartphones, because it's prohibited in our school. And obviously there are some CGMs that have that capability, and obviously China, you're a leader in innovation. So please do your best. It's going to be a game changer for our children in this country that have type 1. The other thing is the CGM available for sale at this venue, and is there a special launch discount so that we know about it?
Thank you very much. I think you'll respond. The first was a comment, and then.
Yeah, I can only be able to answer the first question. So for this one, for the sensor, for the reader, I would like to mention that now it's already been developed. So we have the product now, so it will be very soon to be available in the market. Now we are just finalizing the regulatory problems, and they will be okay with it. So
clap for Sinocare. You see that these gadgets are available, discounted or free tonight.
I know you have the answer. We've said every table. We are going to use a mechanism. Every table. Already you've done 1 year. I know it is on your hand now. Yeah? So we are going to debate in every table because there's a machine. We'll offer one person. But the criteria,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Question, this event is being streamed live and is being recorded, so don't shout from your seat. You must use the mic. Any question here?
Okay, thank you. I would like to ask Dr. This glucose monitoring system, okay, I'm using it, and then I notice my sugars have gone high. And what I normally do now, I normally inject myself. Will I use my Humalog to inject again, and the monitoring machine is showing me? Or will I use the two devices again?
I'm sorry if I'm not sure I got you.
I'm asking, I have the monitoring machine has monitored my sugars, and I've noted the sugars are so high. And normally, when my sugars are high, I normally inject myself. Will I still use the Humalog or blood test that I normally use to inject myself?
A very good question. You remember those days that I was trying to project here the AGP, the monitoring? So now it will become very easy, first of all, to know how much Lantus you need to give yourself. Okay? And then 2, the Humalog that you're using, you use it 3 times a day? 3 times a day. Now it will become much easier for you to know what dose that you will inject yourself. The first 1 or 2 days will be a learning experience, I must say, because you see, we do not monitor the sugars like what this thing is monitoring your sugar every 3 minutes, and you are seeing your sugars going up. And that's why you will need, especially if you're on insulin and sulfonylureas, you need to work with your doctor. Because I know I did not show the chart here, but when you are within or you're going above 95 percentile, then you need to talk to your doctor. It has to be very personalized, and you have to look at the data and then know what action you need to do. I hope that makes sense.
That's it? Thank you. Question here? Round 2, we are done with round 1. Very good.
Thank you very much. My name is Helen. I have been using this machine, but maybe from a different company. But what I realized is that on the first day, there is some calibration that is done. And then as long as you continue using it, there are times when the range between the machine and the actual blood testing is sometimes high or low. So it means like you have to keep calibrating. So the person I talked to told me that I take my blood sugar in the morning and calibrate the machine so that during the day it can give me an almost accurate reading. So I don't know whether this one is much better or it's going to be different from the one that I've been using. The other thing is that I realized that the sensor is also expensive. I don't know whether this one, after the sensor, after it expires, the other one is going to be a bit cheaper because some of them are like almost not affordable to many people. Lastly, what is it? Okay, so the last thing is that I noted that when I'm monitoring my blood sugar with that, together with the book that Dr. Katambo talked about, I have been very peaceful. I have been very comfortable, and my blood sugar is like almost stable. Thank you.
And oh, George, proceed.
I think I will respond to the first question about the calibration. As I mentioned in my slides, because we have noticed that the manual calibration is very complicated and it actually is not that scientific. So our company has already did all the calibration in our factory, so you don't have to do it with yourself. And regarding the second question, could you repeat again? Cannot remember it.
So the second question was about the sensors. The sensor is a bit expensive because the first time you buy together with the sensor. But the second round after 14 days, I think the one I've been using is about 9,500. So if I have to buy a sensor after every 2 weeks at 9,500, it becomes a bit expensive.
Well, asante sana kwa kutumia kitabu. Mbona imesaidia? Now, I need to explain something. CGMs are different. Okay, the one she's talking about, there's something called a sensor here, and then on top of attaching the sensor here, you attach a transmitter also. Two things. So your hand will have the sensor, you put the sensor which looks like a part, like a plate, you attach it, and then on top of it you put a transmitter. Now this one does not, they are combined. It's one thing at the same time. So once you buy the sensor, it has the transmitter inside. And that's what George was saying. For those that are separate, sometimes you can get some water getting in between the sensor and the transmitter. And sometimes it can also be a conduit for infection. All right? But this one being a combined one, you're not touching it, it's there, the battery lasts for 15 days, and it uses Bluetooth. You don't need to do anything, you don't need to scan after 8 hours. There's absolutely no scanning with this one. What you do is just, even when I'm just near it, it just downloads the data to it.
Safety issues. We had a question from the table. Yes. Okay.
My questions are coming from the online community. Yeah? So there's a number of questions that are directed to Mr. Charles and Dr. Katambo separately. The first question is, how many ICANs can be linked to one app? For instance, a mother by the name Kiambi has her child and her mother who are diabetic. Is she able to monitor both of them through one phone? Second, what happens when the sensor is detached before the 15 days? That's the business question now. The third, what is the minimum age that this sensor can be attached to? toddlers, and so on. This one is from the fitness community. Can it be able to handle rapid changes in blood sugar during exercises and meals after exercises? And the last one, how secure is my data?
You've heard from the diaspora. Musila or Daktari, who will go first? George?
Because there are a few questions, so could you go for the first question again?
Okay. So how many sensors can be monitored through one phone?
Oh, okay. So one phone, it doesn't combine with the phone. It combines with your account. I mean, each ICAN Health account can only monitor one at the same time. So it means that, yeah. So if you need to monitor two at the same time, then you need to have two phones, two applications, two accounts.
Okay.
Okay. And for the age, the second one I don't answer right now, but for the third one, for the age, right? The age, this I have to mention. Right now, first of all, the CGM is now available for the adults, but actually it can do for the kids. So what we are doing is that in China, because we cannot do the clinical test with children like 2 years old. This is a legal problem. We can do that. So what we are doing is now we are already proceeding the clinical studies in our United States subsidiaries. We have recruited more than 60 volunteers for children aged over 2 years old. And now the test is already finalizing, so we will be able to provide the clinical report for kids can use over 2 years old, and then we will also make the amendment for the CE certificate in the first quarter of 2025.
To the business question, to Mr. Musila, what happens when it's detached before 15 days?
That is unfortunate. But still, business goes on. Now, you'll find, I think, Daktari, you can show us yours. We are applying an extra, like a tape, to prevent that thing coming out. You see, our lady, what she had talked about, that one, the sensor and the transmitter, is a possibility of detaching. But ours, we have increased an extra tape to prevent that coming out. Because most of them, even you are removing a shirt, a coat like this one of mine, already is out. Number two, you know, this is a manufacturer, it's not a user. Experience from me. You've said how many years, especially kids. Huwezi weka mtoto hapa, utakuta hii kitu inasumbua mimi, ametoa. So experience for the small kids 2 years and above, you put here where the child cannot remove. I think you answered. Another one?
How secure is my data?
IT people. IT people.
So for the security of the data, usually it will, for example, we have ICAN Reach, we have ICAN Review. For all this data, it will only be allowed to share because you will only will be authorized by the patients. There is a limitation code. So only the patients allow the doctors to get it, then they will get it. Otherwise, it will be fully secured.
The last one, yeah, from the fitness community, from the Laughing Lab Code community. Can it handle rapid changes in blood sugar, especially during exercises and immediately after exercises?
Yes. In fact, that is part of the you remember the 99% when I said the lifestyle change, diet, physical activity, and medication. Yes. In fact, when you wear it and you run, you will actually see your sugar go down a little bit, and then after some time it goes up because of hormones that you release, epinephrine and other hormones that you release while you're running.
Thank you.
We have taken care of all communities. Please clap for ourselves. Anybody something burning? I'm not seeing the smoke. Okay.
My name is Abdi. I'm concerned about my patients For example, I have 3 patients of different nationality or origin. I have an Asian, an African, and an European. Should I worry about their data being transmitted differently based on their origin?
Different nationalities?
Well, that is a true concern, especially with any technology that is coming up, especially from outside. I'll give you an example. You know, there's now current technology that is checking the eye camera. What is it called? The AI camera thing, where you, for diabetic patients, you go and there's a camera, they just shoot. They check your eyes, and it uses an image, and it analyzes. So what happened is some gadgets came, and they had tested them with the European population. And we have dark pigmentation. So they were picking patients to have what? Have diseases. And now I know there are studies that are being done for African population. Unless we do studies and we are able to identify those particular unique cultural or individualism in us, any studies that we has done or has been done on this ICAN or any other Freestyle Libra or any other Dexcom, it has involved the black community. That has been done. However, when now it comes to individualization, like has it been done maybe in Muslim? I am not aware of the studies. There could be, but I'm not aware of any that it exists.
Valid concern, Abdi, valid concern. Let me share an example. I attended a personalized summer school in May, and I learned that some scientists in Germany are doing proteomics. They're doing proteome examination in urine to detect disease, because it has been discovered that by the time we take the blood sample, the disease has really permeated and is very far. But if you use urine to detect proteomic enzyme proteins, you will detect it earlier. But then, all the study population is European. So we want to work on a study in East, Central, and South Africa to see how it plays among Africans. Because as Abdi says, really, we are not the same. We are not the same. These things apply differently. And if you have to do real personalized medicine, then you can even we must look at races. Yeah, we must look everything. So when we are doing East, Central, and South Africa, Kenya is part and parcel. So it is very valid. Any other concern? Any other concern? You are now abusing the Constitution. Did I let you speak here?
Yes.
Which one?
Through me.
No. That's not how we do business.
Thank you. The last one, because you insisted of round 2, abdomen seems to be the preferred site, and especially for the men, they have the area of the abdomen. They have to shave before they.
Shaving versus no shaving.
Well, the abdomen is not the preferred site. This has been done. I know even the videos will show the preferred site here. As long as you have enough subcutaneous tissue here, you are good to go. As long as you know that you can get good subcutaneous tissue, mkono iko sawa, hapo uko sawa. Otherwise, you can put it here. Here, we are 100% sure that we will get subcutaneous tissue. Here, you need to, if a muscular guy goes to the gym, like the fitness guys, or but most of our population, I think with this you can also get good interstitial space that you can use.
Thank you very much. Daktari and the doctors in the house, I want us to be very honest with ourselves. Anybody who is above 45 years, they start telling you they want to eat black ugali. Yet it's the worst. It's even worse with the patients themselves. They tell you ugali nyeupe hapana, nataka hii nyeusi. Where did the rain start beating us? Who started cheating people?
I think the teaching we have a lot to do. And I think such technology is really going to help us in identifying this. White or brown. Yes, brown, ugali, millet, sorghum can be nutritious. Don't get me wrong, it is nutritious. It has more nutrients than the white. However, it can either have even more or equally the same amount of sugar. So you have to be very careful with how you send the message to your patients. A banana, for example, somebody takes a banana. Why? If I give Musila a banana like this, what do I tell him? Take a banana to get what vitamins or mineral? Potassium, right? Potassium. But I never tell them that banana is almost 90% sugar. So the message needs to just change. So when somebody says, I'm going to eat fruits to get vitamins, and then you don't eat vegetables, yet when you eat fruits, they can make you gain weight and your sugar goes up. And you can get those vitamins, minerals, phosphorus from your vegetables. So it is a messaging, and we hope we can change that in the future.
Excellent. Clap for Daktari. The reason why I put that across is because of exactly what you are saying, the messaging. The messaging. How do you put it across? And I'm saying this because you have listened to the discussion here, and most people are talking about expensive. The term expensive is relative. People drive to Mombasa, others uses buses, others fly 8 times a week, KQ. The term expensive is very relative. It depends on what you want to achieve. We as medical lab scientists, when COVID came, molecular biotechnology was a very expensive method. But all of a sudden it was everywhere because it was life-threatening. It was life-threatening. The last issue is a comment. The country is doing away with the NHIF. We are going social health insurance. Each one of us as an MP, as a senator, as a governor, the advocacy must be done by us. If government is going to be objective through this, not everybody is diabetic, but we must take care of them. Then that way, we will be talking sense. My MP is the TikTok guy, PK. That's my MP. I'll talk to him. It's now time for Mr. Musila to make the closing remarks. I'm sorry dinner has grown cold, but it was very interesting, Mr. Musila.
Thank you, Mr. Sakwa. I'm grateful. Thank you. You've attended this thing almost 98%. Now, I wear 2 coats. I'm a businessman and I'm a professional. I've done BSc, Medical Lab Sciences, specialty biochemistry. This is my field with that time. Now, although I have seen many people wanted to ask that question, price. You've heard we are much cheaper, halfway. I think that lady might know. We are halfway, 50% down. So when we come to prices, I think we shall deal on person. We have 3 categories. We have the end user, we have sub-dealers. We shall appoint like chemistry, some bodies who are dealing with the machines to deliver to the patients. And now we have the distributor level. So, hapo nitajipigia ndebe kidogo. Musila is the CEO of Biocare. Katambo is also a CEO in Afyacode. We are the 2 distributors. We have our senior, high-rich pharmaceuticals. That one we'll talk. So, kwa biashara, when we are there, kuja tu. So, I've told you, we are 2. Musila, Dr. Katambo. Mzee pia ako hapa. Na wajua hatuwezi kula tukamumalizia. So, we are coexisting. So, musishuke sana. We are not saying prices, but I know we those ones will sort, no problem. And the gentleman is here. I told him this is Kenya, this is Africa. Huh? So, kama mwenye chombo ako hapa, musishituke na mimi niko. So, Me, I'm grateful. Someone now you can direct us where to go. But before, you said every table, you know what to do. Thank you. Can you clap for yourself?
Now we want to do a random selection. And this random selection can be guided. Each table has one gadget. You can grab, like Kenyans do, I grab one here. You can negotiate and agree. You can donate to somebody who said, I'm living with this thing. You know, that's how we can be fair. We don't have any particular formula. We just want people to reach consensus and say, this one, we are giving to this one. So, but the only thing is that when the people are given, they'll stand up to ensure that the constituent is taken care of. If you give more women, then I have a problem with that. If you give more men, I have a bigger problem. Because it's called gender mainstreaming. So could we have the tables caucus around themselves and agree on who gets it, and then we take the tally. Please, 2 minutes. And we'll fix it here. We'll fix it here. The criteria, order, colleagues. Order, table one, order. We'll fix it here. You're not carrying, you're fixing it here. Mine is on already. So here. Are we done? Who is getting it here? We're still discussing. If you are ready with your candidate, tell us. You are here. You are ready. Okay, fix. And by the way, did you download the app? ICAN app? Do you have the ICAN app? You have the ICAN app? He has it? On the phone? Okay. You're good to go. Here, who is getting it? Excellent. This table, who is the candidate? Still negotiating. This one we are done. Here, who is the candidate? Excellent. Here, who is the candidate? Daktari, sawa. This table, excellent. Here, for his daughter. We want to fix it here. Now you're breaking the rules. We give him. That's the consensus. I don't dispute. Here, very good. Here's the app. Here, you have the app on the phone. The app. Please download the app because your fixing is here so that you know it's working. Here, madam, very good. Here, you are the candidate. Excellent. I think we are good to go, Mr. Masila. So, George, can you assist with the fixing? There's only one table where they have donated to a patient who is not here, but the rest of the tables, the candidate is here. So, please, let's have it fixed. Now, when you are done, we'll be going to. Yeah, you come and see the demonstration. The candidates come and see the demonstration. Candidates come and see the demonstration on this table. Then the rest, the food is waiting for you in the room next here, on the right of this hall. Thank you very much. And there is a token of appreciation from the company at the table where you register. Please make sure you get it. Token of appreciation at the desk of registration.
It was live on Facebook.
Oh, sorry. Oh, you continue. Oh, it's still alive, right?
It's still alive. Nasemaje, I can end the live. I can end the live.
Yeah, you can. Tukienda kwa na end bana.
Sinataka kuona hii
fixation. By the way. I hope so this.
Hakuna sauti. It's been 2 hours.
Imagine imeenda sana. Tulifaa tumalize 8:20. Mimi nasikia njani tuko kwa nyumba sana. It's been good. Simple. The turnout has been okay. In fact, it's been a successful. Yeah, doctors, heads of organizations, patients. So we're good.
So I will take out the so we see here is a time, the blue hot time. Here is also a blue hot. So we just have to match it. Okay, so now we press is two sides. Never press it in the middle. Press it and it will be
Ni malizi live. It's been 2 hours. 2 hours.
Watu wakikula utachukua ama huko?
Huko hapana.